Hello, we are back. We have done our stretches. We have our tea, or at least I have. Andrew has responded. Thanks for the shout out, Judd. Um, and I'm glad that you're working on your minis.
Yeah, thank you, Anthony. And shout out to Andy too, who's always here.
Yeah,
Uh, Definitely.
indeed.
Thank you, Andy. It's nice to see a familiar face during our games.
Yeah. Um,
Cool.
so
Let's.
we're heading to Wheelholt again.
Yeah, I think you're marching with the host.
Yep.
Um, and cool. How does man? This is just really new. I think to to Polara.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
She's kind of unsure what exactly to do here.
Yeah.
She has an
Can you do me a favor? I just want to get an idea of how exhausted the marching makes you. I'm just looking for an OB1 fort test. That's it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds good. Let's find out how exhausted she is. And the answer is well, um not exhausted. I got
Cool.
one success, but
Cool. Cool.
not
Yeah.
yeah,
I just wanted to know, like, that's a different type of exercise than she's used to, and
absolutely.
um, yeah, I think you've got the like bruises from the straps from what you're carrying, and but I think, uh,
Yeah.
you know, your crew's got your back, and Gaffy's making sure that you've got your bruises are being seen too, and your boots are solid, and
Yeah.
cool. And Anthony, you're in chat, and don't tell me you have no idea how to play. I've literally played Burning Wheel with you, so don't. I literally play tested my Burning Wheel one shot for Burning Con with you in your house. So I don't even want to hear that you have no idea how to play. That's nonsense. Uh, so anyway,
Yeah.
that's conversations with a friend of mine who's in chat tonight, painting his minis. Cool. Uh, yeah. So I think you get there
Yeah.
and you were you're feeling good,
Yeah.
and
Well, I think Pilar has a lot of anxiety because she's coming with the elves, and there's an orc in her retinue, and there's an oathbreaker in her retinue, and there's her adventuring party, or at least the leader of it has been sent off, and she's just not sure how to present herself to the guilders and how to enter in a wheelholt, and like whether she doesn't want to have she doesn't want to have she who sits astride the howling beast immediately be assaulted or whatnot. So I think she wants
right,
to camp outside of Willholt, which is standard anyway. You wouldn't bring your host into a
right.
friendly encampment. Like that would be an aggressive act, I think. Um, but I'm gonna fall back on one of my instincts, which is let me pull it up. I'll pull it up in chat since or pull it up in on screen. When let's see, can everyone see it? No, they cannot. Now you can all see it. When I'm unsure about the best way to govern, consult the broodmother, and I think I will, ask her if she, ask her if she thinks it's safe for me to leave everyone in the host together. I think Polara is a little bit afraid that she is kind of putting out like playing whack-a-mole with everybody's hot tempers,
Totally.
and if she leaves and there's no one to do that, that it's going to erupt and there's going to be a fight amongst her own host, or is someone, the elves and dwarves, somebody's going to like get pissed off, and she's got an oathbreaker with her, and so I think she turns to Broodmother and she says, "I know that you have." Um, I know when I found you, you had trolls with you from the pit and trolls with you from the caves, and you had and you told me that they don't gather together in general, but you had gathered some. How did you keep your people from turning on each other every time you turned around?
Sometimes you got to let them fight. Trolls are different from from dwarves. They're sturdy. If they want to bang on each other a little bit, it's okay. You might not have that luxury.
You think you could maybe stay here and make sure that nobody bangs on each other too hard?
Maybe you should gather them and gather their leaders and say something.
Yeah. It's a good idea. And I imagine that I'm imagining that Kiara, the Prince of the Iron Gods, is like probably. I get the sense that she's someone who's fine if there's a problem in front of her, especially if it's the kind of problem that you can hit with a hammer or an axe.
Yeah.
But is not so great when there isn't something you can hit with it. Like,
yeah.
So, yeah, she's going to get Gaffy, her first Ardent, and Gaffy and Kiara and Hertho, not Bella, the adventurer, because much as she loves Bella's now represents well, actually Bella might be standing in for Kurbika while he's gone.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd say. But yeah, I think she's going to gather the Etheric and the Brood Mother, and tell them it's not like she hasn't said this already, but like I think she's going to say, together we're a motley crew with the aid of the Guilders and the Dwarven host will be an army. And that's what we need to defeat those spiders, to drive them back. So I'm going to go try and gather us up an army, but I need to make sure that when I come back, we're all still here and ready to go.
Yeah.
And she's sort of like looking to be like, if you've got some beef, now's the time to do it, because it's not when I walk out the door that you turn on each other. So like so she's sort of opening up, like, if anybody has any grievances you need me to look at right now, hit me, because I expect not to hear when I was gone that you were fighting.
Right. I want to roll. I want to see if you can. I think
it seems totally like a roll to me.
Course persuasion.
Yeah, so I was thinking, because it's like the reason why it's course persuasion. It's like, if you all fight, we're all gonna die. Like, you have to hold yourself together. You can't decide that you don't like orcs or you don't like outlaws or you don't like elves, because we all need each other right now.
Yeah.
And there's a part of Polara in the back of her head or not the back of her head, but there's a part of Polara that has always hoped that the more we can do together, the more connections that we'll build. And so she really wants more opportunities for these people to experience things together.
Right.
And she feels like that's where bonds will be formed. Yeah, let's do a persuasion. Of course, persuasion. That sounds right.
Cool. So I think I think it's an ob 6. I think it's a monster.
Yeah, that sounds right. All right. I'm gonna fork in ugly truth. It is literally the ugly truth that we're all gonna like. We fight right now and we die.
Yeah.
It's very simple as that. I'm gonna fork in host wise, because I think I can delineate like how important the host is to us.
Yeah.
Like we need the host, and
there are gonna be a lot of forks in this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
Probably
looking
yes.
down your list and I'm like, oh, I'm seeing a lot of good stuff here. Yeah.
Yeah. I
I mean, I feel like you're almost made for this moment, right? Troll wise, elf wise, spider wise, dwarven noble wise, host wise. Like,
yeah.
I think all that's going in. I'm not going to make you fight for it.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, that sounds right to me as well.
I'm going to throw in one more that is weird, and I think it's non-traditional, but I think administration,
Oh yeah.
which
This
is usually just used for money, but you're here to get money. Like I, I think administration makes sense.
yeah. All right. So I'm bringing in Dwarven Noble, Spider, Administration, Elf, um, Ugly Truth, Troll, Host. Okay. I'm forking in 7 dice.
Okay,
Like you do. Did I miss,
like you do.
I don't think I'm missing anything. Okay. Here we go. Polara's ob 6. Oh my god.
Holy shit.
It's a open-ended skill, so all those 6s exploded.
Whew.
Well, routine tests don't do anything when you got 5, but I'll mark it anyway for funsies. Yeah. So she's
Wow.
looking and she's
Yeah.
eyeing everybody.
I think like everybody gives you a silent nod, like we will put it aside, you know?
Yeah.
And I think the way the Elven Ethark, Din, or Neliel lets everyone know that the elves are behind this is she says, she turns and says, "She who sits astride the beast, the howling beast, why don't you and your steed come to my camp as my personal guest?" And like everybody's like, "Oh shit,
Wow.
this is real."
Yeah, that's some actual protection she's offering there.
Yeah.
And yeah. Polara gives her an especially deep nod, especially deep nod of gratitude, because she knows that she who rides astride the Howling Beast was probably the most contentious person in this camp, and for
Right.
the Ethark to do that was a big
Yeah.
move.
Yeah. And probably like the single most powerful person in this camp, maybe on the continent. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
this is like Galadriel level
right.
person who's like,
Yeah,
yeah, like what Polara just said goes, and uh, cool. I
wow,
think you
awesome.
leave with everybody nodding at you, and I think the only one who's really uncomfortable is she who sits astride the howling beast, who
Sure.
is, uh, going to an elf camp. But yeah, that's a story in some other book.
Right. We can
Where
play her out in a different, a
yeah,
different, a different adventure. That's one of the
that's
best things about this game, Jed, is all of the like spin-off stories that we could tell.
yeah,
We could totally tell Kerbika's travel to the Iron Dukes.
hmm
Yeah.
definitely.
Cool. So I'm gonna go in with a small retinue. Toman for sure. I don't. Maybe that's it. Um, and Bulat, and yeah, to meet with the Guilders.
Cool.
Actually, oh man, I really hate the Guilders. They really get under my skin.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is a game for doing things that you feel is right. I'm gonna bring Chiesa with me.
Oh
Uh,
shit. Oh, that is such a power move. You're bringing the assassin who they sent after you.
yeah,
Oh, I love it.
yeah.
I
She's just
absolutely love that. That is a oof.
it's kind of just a fuck you to the
That's
to the
yeah, that's
Guilders.
that's that's big Prince energy, man. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
But
Holy
I've
shit.
basically told her, like, I'm gonna be your personal, like, I've taken personal responsibility for her. I'm not saying like you're welcome in the vault, or you're welcome among my people. I've said to her, like, you're welcome in my tent. Like, I
Right.
don't know how far that extends. I don't know if you're
Yeah.
welcome in my domain. I know you're welcome in my tent. And so to
Yeah.
some degree, this is her personal responsibility. But to some degree, this is also just like, you know what, Guilders? How do you like these apples, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so it works out on both levels.
So I think the other cool thing that happens is you get kind of like an awesome slow clap moment when people realize you're in Wheelholt again.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's your first time there in 2 years. I think the thing that you notice about returning is not only like, you know, those kind of home smells when there's a place you haven't been in a long time, but you
Mhm.
kind of grew up there and you're like, oh, this place smells a certain way and I never noticed.
Yeah.
And I think this place like smells like fire, right? All the
Mm.
time. And you can feel, even though you're deep in the mountain and the burning wheel is atop of the mountain, you can feel the heat of it. Like it's just like, it's like there's a feeling that you never knew was there, that the wheel is atop of everyone, that you only now notice after being gone for a couple years.
Yeah.
And that like fire, that kind of like, you know, crisp fire smell.
I feel like there's there at least that may be the all of it, but Polara also feels like there's some kind of connection with the Lord of Fire that she didn't have when she was here last, that is
Right.
reminding her of it as well. It's
Yeah.
like it's not even like a spiritual connection. It's just it's on her mind. It's like an
Yeah.
awareness that she has of it, that she is more. I don't know. I got in a couple small accidents a year or two ago. Nothing big, just scuffed up. But after
Yeah.
I got in like two accidents in a row, I just well, I was on every time I was riding my bike, I just felt like every car go by me, and I felt like every bump in the road, and I was just really like
Yeah.
wary for a
Yeah.
good month or two, right? I couldn't, and I just feel like that's Pilar right now. She's just like he's just he's just on her mind, and so she keeps thinking, you know, his presence is here.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, what's up, follower, whoever person who wants to get a ban? How's it
Good one,
going?
Andy. Good catch. Good hunting.
Yeah, thank you.
Good
Yeah,
hunting.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. And I think there's like this kind of slow clap moment as the, you know, the working class folk of Wheelholt realize that their prince, not their prince of Wheelholt, but the prince
Mhm.
who was among them,
Right.
uh, was is in the building, you know, and uh, there's a lot of like, you know, cheers and applauds, and I think there, you know, songs are being sung, uh and uh and
Nice.
yeah, I think you there's a loud like tumult as you walk, you know, down the street to to the feast hall where, you know, Bulat will uh will feast you.
Nice.
And yeah, I think um his, you know, Aberdart announces you, and
Mhm. Is it great? Is it
as
Grey
the it's so
Oozeman? Oh no, he's a Greybeard. Never mind.
yeah, it totally is. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
totally Grey Usman.
Yeah. Nice.
And you know, it's your first time being announced in someone else's hold fast, and Bulat is, you know, on his throne, uh, having, you know, showered and changed his clothes and have had his beard is plaited, you know, and down,
Mm.
and he uh, he says, "Welcome to my holdfast. Uh, everyone knows Prince Polara. She was one of us in Wheelholt. and has left us for the flimsy accommodations over in the vault to live among dusty books. And sometimes those books will fall from a great height, and they're very dangerous. And when this happens, you have to ward yourself. And like he turns to Grey Usman, who hands him like this thing that has a piece of cloth draped over it, and he says, and when that happens, you will need your shield. And like he takes the cloth off, this black cloth off of the shield, and yeah, I think it has what has become your family crest, and I think you're still Dragonsworn, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a dragon with like a scroll in one hand, like a scroll in one claw, and like a pick in the other.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it's all like finely wrought and dwarven made, and I picture it's like kind of concave a little bit. And he says, "You'll need this, Prince."
I have to say, to pause for a moment to appreciate this. Whenever I get a gift for somebody that you put a lot of thought into.
Yeah.
Than just like, I bought something off your wish list or something like that. I feel like you're always like so excited about it, and the longer you have to wait, like the harder it is to like I have this thing, I don't know what I can't tell you about it, but I'm so excited.
Right.
I feel like the way dwarves give gifts are like, this is something that he's like had underway for like months, like the whole time he's been traveling. Like before he left, he had this commissioned, like he's known about this through the wedding, through the fight, through everything, and he's just been holding it in until now. And I love that thought that like, he's got this. And Polara has become very accustomed to giving gifts to when people visit her, and she kind of forgot that visiting another Princess Holdfast would call for such an occasion. But she's sort of like, there's a little bit of like, who, me? Like she's just, even though she's been prince for a year, there's still a part of it that doesn't quite feel right. And like when she sees she hears about this, she doesn't really know what to do. But then when she sees like the dragon with the pick and the scroll, it's like, oh man, I think
Gaffy whispers in your ear, I've cleared it with Bulat's people that our host guarding the walls of the Holdfast is our gift. I forgot to tell you in the hubbub of everything. I'm sorry, Your Majesty.
And I think Polara she's like nodding as she's hearing him, and she puts her arm on Gaffy's shoulder, probably in a not super princely way. She like pulls him into him, and she like leans her head against his head and just starts crying. Like she's just like nothing this beautiful has ever been made for her before. Right. And like Gaffy probably didn't mean to be the one to get like this, like being cried on by her. right. But he was the one that was there. And so he gets it. And she kind of like clears the tears, mats them into her beard, and makes sure she's already like made sure beforehand, like she groomed herself really well this morning. But like, she just like makes sure that her three children's beard segments are all like neatly separated before when she like goes up to take the shield from Bulat, and just sort of, her hands are tough. She's a minor. She doesn't have, her hands are thick and calloused. So it's like, it takes some pressure, but she sort of like runs her fingers along all the etching that's done on the shield before she takes it. And just,
I think Bulat like introduces you to Abbas, who is like the old artificer, like the old master artificer who made this. Nice. And she's there with her, with her blonde beard, or no, she's got like a red beard that's like going white, right? So it's like red, and like there are white streaks in it because red hair tends to go white pretty quick, like go from like
there's
red to white,
gray in the middle.
Yeah, and so it's going white, and I think like the fact that Abbas's work just brought a prince to tears is like that's going to be on her gravestone, right? Like that is just like a thing. And she says, "I'm glad you like it, Your Majesty. It was important to Bulat."
And she looks between Abbas and Bulat and is nodding and is smiling and just says, "Thank you both. This is an incredible gift. I will cherish it always." And she says, my children will carry this shield, and their children and their children after me, and it will this shield will be the first piece of my family's ancestry, my family's crest. Yeah, she's very like emotional and but yeah, very, very, very thankful to both of them.
Yeah. And I think like Bulat has sons and daughters who are around, and he kind of dismisses everyone. And he says, "We have a boring meeting with the Gelders to just talk about some money issues with the host. You're all dismissed. Let's." And he turns to you and he says, "Let's have our meeting."
Yeah, and very like almost as though, you know, she just like walked outside and got like a brisk like whiff of air, like almost as though she like was like a punch. She just like sucks in, is like, yep. Let's let's get to business. I know that this isn't going to be as pleasant an interaction as the last one, and yeah, she says, okay. And I think she's got Gaffy with like some ledgers there to talk about basically the wealth of the vault. We've inventoried it and things like that. You know, Hirthod sort of represent her host, and Toman, who's a Gilder, and Kieza. I think that's her retinue.
Cool.
I think those are the people that are. And so, yeah, she says, "Prince Bulat, I will take your lead. I've not had many successful encounters with the Gilders, and none as prince. So I'll fall after you." And she's sort of looking to him to see like what's the appropriate way that a prince greets a Gilder, right? Like what level? Because clearly, Prince. I'm forgetting his name. The prince who's like in horrible debt.
He had a fucked up relationship with his.
He had a really like.
Yeah.
He was clearly having to be very deferential to the Gilders, and they were very much in control, and Pilar is really wary of getting into that space, right? Like he's like a warning story for everybody. I think you said like he's like, yeah, don't get into debt with the Gilders. This is what your princedom becomes.
Yep. So I think you walk in, and the interesting thing about the Gilders that we learn from the life paths that Burning Wheel gives us is the highest rank you can have among them is a trader, right? And then that's it. Like, It's a pretty flat organization, which I think is interesting. And I think that means that there's a really fucked up
it's
like hierarchy among the traders, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first things we learned about the dwarves is that there was a tapestry of like the 17 great debts.
Yes.
And I think all of the traders who are in this room, and there's like 7 of them, and they all have rings on their fingers, and it's traders, like I am trading.
Yeah.
And not traders like I'm a traitor to my people. Yeah. And
good question, Andy.
good,
Thanks
very,
for
very good
covering.
question. And they've got these rings on their fingers, and it takes you a moment to realize that these traders, through wheeling and dealing and conniving, hold one of the 17 great debts. And hold the money behind it, or the lien on a holdfast behind it, or whatever it is, or the the mortgage on a fortress, or whatever it is. Like, they've got, like, some of them are wearing three of these huge, like, I think they've got really simple clothes on, right? But then they've got these gaudy rings,
Right.
and those rings represent one of the great debts.
Oh wow, I'm thinking of like NFL, like football, like
Totally.
rings, those sort of big, gaudy, monstrous things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And yeah, it's totally like a Super Bowl ring. Absolutely. It is the Super Bowl ring of the fantasy world.
Yeah.
And absolutely. And I think their clothes are very well made and form fitting and humble, but like the rings are like, no, there's nothing humble about these people.
Yeah, right.
And they've got complicated braids in their beards, and a good spread of men and women dwarves. And yeah, the head trader, or one of the traders who has 3 debts among her 2 hands, says, like, I think they all get up and bow as you 2 enter.
Mm-hmm.
And Bulat says, "We have too much to do. Let's go, you bean counting fucks." He says, "Listen,
not at all expect what, like,
yeah,
and Polara expected to be very deferential and be
yeah,
very polite.
yeah.
And he's just like,
I think they like laugh, like there's like laughter and like amusement. And he says, "We've got 3 princes here because we have to put together our 3 hosts and march south to do away with the spiders. This will be the legendary war of our generation. The people after us will remember this. And if we don't do it, then who will be alive to buy our crafts? Who will be alive to buy our gems? No one. The dukes and their castles are falling one after the other. These spiders climb over walls like they're nothing. And they go through tunnels just as quickly. Make no mistake."
They come from far deeper than we typically delve. They know the underground better than we could ever hope to.
Yeah, and I think Kiara, right? Because Kiara's there.
Yeah.
Kiara says, "We have to realize that if we do not decimate them in the forests that they squat in right now, we could very easily be fighting a 2-front war in the years to come, as they attack us from above and below."
We have the weapons of the Iron Gods. We have mithril bolts. We have mithril blades, because we have multiple, right? Like, Bella was given a mithril sword by the elves,
right? And then she turned that into the mithril bolts.
No. She got that and then turned it into the mithril bolts. Then
yes.
That was the one she.
Oh, and then she got another. Yeah,
then she got another one
the
from
wedding gift.
Din Arundel.
Yeah. She got a wedding gift. Yeah.
And Hertho has one of the Iron Gods.
Right.
So we have 3 mithril weapons between the bolts, the sword, and the axe. We have 3 mithril, and Kiara has one of the Iron Gods as well. So we have at least 4 mithril weapons between us, not counting whatever Din Arundel has, and whatever else can be brought.
Cool.
But like within this room, we have probably 3 or 4 mithril weapons. Is my point. Like,
let's I think we've like set the duel of wits, right? So I think like we've done
Body of argument.
our body of argument. So
Yeah.
let's roll on that.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, 397, I think. Is that right? No, close. In the ballpark. $390. Okay. So we're gonna roll our body of argument skill. I'm gonna be rolling course persuasion.
Yep.
And there's no forks with BOA.
Cool.
You just add to your will. All right. Bum, bum, bum. Although cancel.
What's up?
I'm contemplating forking. Not forking. I'm contemplating invoking my greed on this. I don't think I'll do it for the BOA. I think I might do it in the. It's a lot of dice, though. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna roll it. Oof. Oh. All right. I only got 3. I'm gonna spend 1 fate though to reroll a failure. Nope. All right. So my BOA is not my body of argument is 9 then.
Okay. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Theirs is 10.
All right. That's
actually
6.
I'm sorry. Theirs is 12. Theirs is 12.
All right.
And I think what they say is our investment is not about victory, my young majesty. Our investment is about, you say that you're bringing these great resources to bear, and we cheer for the Dwarven host and its might that you have marshaled. But our accountants, unfortunately, have to consider the very real possibility that any one of those resources, priceless resources that you would be bringing to bear, could be lost, it could end up in the hands of some human duke who will demand the wheel itself to get it back. We are making an investment in order to keep our society safe, yes, but also to keep our treasures at home. And yeah, that's like, I think, yeah. Anyway, that's their body of argument.
Nice.
We should script.
Yeah. Oh man, this is probably one of the first duel of wits where I am like really thinking like, what is that? Like I've got this thoughts in my head. And I want to figure out the best way to articulate it in terms of actions.
All right. Do we do it in the chat or in our roll 20?
Let's do it roll 20. That way we
Okay.
keep it, and I'll make sure everyone can see it. Oh, it's already visible. So, all right.
I am ready.
Okay, I'm ready as well.
3, 2, 1. Point. Rebuttal. And point is yours. And I have feint, rebuttal, point.
Oh, snap. I think that's bad for you on that first one. I think that's not a good, I think feint does not get tested against point. I am right. It's brutal against rebuttal.
Right.
But
I was one off.
You're one off. Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. Feint can be used to bypass rebuttal and to attack feint inside or obfuscate in a standard test. Yeah, feint versus point. Yeah, it is not tested versus point.
Wow.
It's I mean it's close because I almost did rebuttal point. So it would have brutal if I flipped that around, it would have been brutal. I think you start with the feint and then I cut you off at the point.
Yeah, I think she starts. And let's name her, right? She's got 3 she's got 3 brutal rings that represent the great debt, 3 great debts on her fingers. And her name is Bata.
Bata the trader. I assume she's a trader.
Trader, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think she starts talking about your lack of experience. And then she's using that as a way to get you into a conversation about that. Mm-hmm. But so she's like, well, we've noticed that in the reinvigoration of the vault, you've made a couple of economic decisions that we're not sure of. We wanted to ask you for some clarification on some issues. And she's being handed ledgers, and she's gonna just drag you into a swamp of the vault and its economic status and but it's not about what's going on right now, right? And so
exactly.
and she was clearly going to do this and then come around and hit you another way, right?
Yeah.
She wasn't a misdirection. It wasn't just talking about something that has nothing to do with this.
Right. Is the shield that Bulak gave me a round shield?
I picture it like a rounded square, right? So it's square on 2 sides, and then it's round along the top and the bottom.
And I've just been given this beautiful gift, and I set it down on this table. And when you set down a circular thing, it'll go as it's settling down. I think this this round on it just it sort of rocks back and forth, and the rock is meant to interrupt her essentially. It makes some noise, and I say, oh, I'm glad to see that you've paid attention to our ledger. I hope you paid as close enough attention to our great deeds. You don't control these mithril weapons. They are held by the people who are willing to go and lay down their lives regardless. It's not whether you will these arrows to fly. They will fly because they are earned by our warriors who are ready to use them.
Nice.
This threat is real. So this is one part is I'm just dismissing this whole you have any control over how we use our resources. But the big thing I'm trying to bring in is and I think I have these corals, and I say, this sword this mithril blade was melted and reforged to make these corals because they're the only things that can pierce the hides of the handmaid, the carapace of the handmaids. They are that dangerous, and only the combined efforts of the Force will be enough to stop them all. You play at politics, and you play at bean counting at the expense of any chance we'd ever have to stop them.
Awesome. Make a roll.
Yeah.
And I think you get helping dice. Kiara puts her axe into the table.
Nice.
And that's like her helping you with conspicuous.
Nice.
And I think she's got 6 in that. So
nice. That's 2 helping dice.
You get 2 helping dice on that. And then I think Bulat is like in a side conversation with another host, with another member of the Guilders, and that's him using Guilder wise. He's like stopping another response that would have been ill, like that would have messed up the good nature of the talk. But it's like kind of like a silent, like to the side thing.
Nice.
But yeah,
I see. That's 3 helping dice.
3 helping dice. Yep.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I'm rolling Curse Persuasion. I am going to bring in Hostwise. I mean, I think it's super appropriate. I am going to building in Gilderwise because I was specifically like, great. I'm glad you're keeping track of the books. You know, like lick your nose up. Yeah. I'm bringing in Spiderwise because I think we know how dangerous the spiders are.
Yeah.
I
think that's about it.
I think I want to bring in Elfwise as well because we have the entire Din Arnell is here right now. She's not going to be here if you decide to do this later. Like,
totally.
I don't think either the orcs or the trolls represent a large enough force to be factored, but I think the elves do. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so that's 5 forks and 3 helping dice.
This could be over.
I mean, would it be terrible if it was over?
No, it would not. No, I think it's fascinating. I love our duels of wits, and I think
because I'm thinking of throwing greed into this as well. I'm just like,
it's not terrible if it's over. Don't.
All right.
If you throw greed in, then you've got a really good shot at ending this right now. Yeah.
Well, and I also have a call on for Course Persuasion, so I can reroll any failed dice, which makes sense to add a ton of dice right now. Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna spend a persona. This is what I knew I knew greed was gonna be a factor in this. And I think this anyway.
And I think the red gold scales, as you decide to use greed, the red gold scales of the dragon on your shield are like reflecting up into your face, and like, you know, the fans of the show would like be stopping a frame and being like, you know, the director went in post and like made one of Pilara's eyes a dragon eye. Like, you know, it's very clear.
Since I'm blowing my entire wad here, I would like 1 advantage die that I'd like to claim for having Kiesa here. And that they said like we've noticed some discrepancies in your bookkeeping. Yeah. And I say, I know you've been keeping an eye on me. And I kind of gesture to her, the assassin who.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Is that cool with you if I
yeah.
Because I'm just like, all right, here we go. Let's see if I can wipe these guys out in one go. It's possible.
How many dice are you rolling?
I am rolling my B5 Course Persuasion with 9 bonus dice, 3 from helping, 5 from forks, 1 from advantage, and 7 Artha from greed.
Yeah. This traitor, Bata zigged when she should have zagged. at this level, you just can't do that.
You just can't
cannot
do it.
do that.
Because that was enough. I didn't even need to bring McCall on.
Oh my goodness.
That was 13 successes. They had 12, right? That was their BOA.
So I think Bata starts to embarrass herself, and she gets flustered, and one of her assistants has to like get her out of there before she destroys her career. And she's led out, and the rest of the traders, the rest of the guilders say, let's discuss the terms of your loan for funding this march. And Bulat kind of like pounds your shoulder, and Kiara takes her axe out of the table and just says, "Wheel damned right you are." And she puts it, back on her back. And I think there's going to be a big resources role to like fund the army.
Absolutely.
But awesome. Love it.
I love it too. That's so good.
So I hate to do this, but I need another break.
No problem.
I need to bio.
So. Yeah. Let's bio. Let's bio, and we'll get to the. There's. I think we want to figure out the resources test. I gotta try and prevent Bulat from coming, which is gonna be tough. And then I think there's the fight, and I feel like that's it.
Might be it. Yeah. We're closing in.
All right.
Maybe a couple other little things in between there, but yep.
We'll be back. We'll be back soon. See you soon.